You know that weird fluttery feeling, like when your phone battery hits red or or you pat your pocket and it's not there, even for just a second. That little spike of anxiety, that automatic reflex to fill any quiet moment with a tap, a scroll, that feeling. Well, that's the battlefield we're diving into today. Last week we talked about how exhausting it is, keeping up those perfect lives online. Today we're asking who actually benefits from all the time we pour into watching those lives. And the answer, honestly, is pretty brutal. Our attention, it's not just ours anymore. It's basically the most valuable resource going, like the new oil. And right now, we're kind of up against these incredibly smart engineers, paid fortunes, really, to wage this subtle psychological war, just to grab every single millisecond of that attention from your brain. So our mission today is to figure out how to take some of that control back. We're going to look at three key things. First, how Silicon Valley uses these almost casino-like tricks to keep you glued to the screen. Second, how all this constant distraction well, it shreds our ability for what some thinkers call active effort. We'll get into Erich Fromm on that. It's fascinating. And finally, how we can actually fight back with some surprisingly simple tactics. Okay, let's get into it. If you can, maybe just put your phone face down for a bit. Let's try to understand how your brain's actually being hunted here.
Right. So to start, you really have to grasp the basic business model. For most of these big tech companies, we aren't the real customers. They aren't selling a service to us. They're selling us our attention, our data, our time to advertisers.
Ah, okay. So their success is measured purely by how long they can keep our eyes on the screen.
Precisely. Keeping you locked in is the entire game. And the main psychological tool they use, it's incredibly effective. It's called the variable reward system. What's really wild is that engineers literally modeled social media interfaces on slot machines.
Well, hang on, slot machines, that seems extreme. When you're just scrolling a feed, it feels much more subtle than gambling.
It feels subtle. That's the genius of it. But the mechanism is the same. The rewards, a funny video, a like from someone important, maybe an interesting article, they don't come predictably. Sometimes you refresh the feed once, boom, something great. Other times you could refresh, 50 times and get basically nothing engaging. And that unpredictability is the absolute key. It triggers the biggest possible release of dopamine, the motivation chemical in our brain.
A reward hormone.
Exactly. The timing is just perfectly engineered to maximize that addictive potential. Your brain isn't getting a steady, reliable reward. It's getting this constant nagging signal saying, hey, the next dopamine hit, the next bit of social validation, it could be right here, to one more scroll.
Wow, so that urge, that just one more minute feeling, it's literally manufactured by that unpredictability.
It keeps you seeking. It minimizes the chance you'll ever consciously choose to just look away.
Okay, so the scrolling itself is addictive by design. But then there's the other layer, right? The things that pull us back in even when we have looked away. Notifications.
Ugh. Notifications. Yes. They were originally intended for, genuinely urgent things. Emergencies, critical updates.
But now, it's a ping because someone liked a photo I posted 3 weeks ago. Or a random memory reminder.
Exactly. Totally trivial stuff most of the time.
Yeah.
But each ping serves the same purpose. Drag your attention back to the screen, back into the system. And this constant bombardment, really, it keeps us in this state that researchers call partial attention.
Partial attention, meaning you're never fully present anywhere?
Pretty much. You might be trying to work or talk to someone or even just, watch a movie.
Yeah.
But part of your brain is always waiting, listening for the next ping. You're tethered.
And what's the real cost of being constantly tethered like that?
Yeah.
Beyond just being distracted. If we connect this to some of the deeper psychology, thinkers like Erich Fromm talked about the importance of concentration, right? Focus.
Precisely. Fromm argued that the ability to truly concentrate, to focus your attention deeply, is absolutely fundamental. Fundamental to meaningful work, to learning, even to the capacity for active love. And the attention economy, its entire model is almost perfectly designed to chip away at that very capacity, to destroy focus.
Why? What's the benefit for them in destroying focus?
Because a focused individual isn't easily manipulated. They make conscious choices. But someone in a state of partial attention, they're more passive, more reactive, more predictable from the algorithm's point of view, easier to keep engaged, easier to sell things to.
And this isn't just a mental thing, is it? I mean, that anxiety when you can't find your phone, it feels physical.
Oh, it absolutely is. There's actually a clinical term for it now, nomophobia. It stands for no mobile phone phobia.
Seriously, nomophobia?
Yes, and it manifests with real physical symptoms, sweating, agitation, that frantic checking of pockets, sometimes even rising panic. That physical distress, it's basically a withdrawal symptom. You're withdrawing from that constant, optimized dopamine loop and the perceived loss of social connection. It's a heavy price, psychologically and physiologically.
Okay, this next part, this really hits home for me. Because the cost isn't just lost minutes or a bit of anxiety, it goes deeper. It seems to erode our ability for what Fromm called active living, and maybe even damages our relationships.
Absolutely. Let's talk about productivity first.
Mm.
Think about those peak states of performance creativity, what people often call flow state or deep work.
Right, when you're completely absorbed in something.
Exactly. And that state requires intense, uninterrupted concentration. You simply cannot achieve deep work if your brain is subconsciously anticipating the next notification buzz. And here's a really startling piece of research. Just one notification, it doesn't even have to be one you check, just seeing it flash up is enough to break that deep focus.
Okay.
And studies show, on average, it takes around 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back to that same level of deep concentration after that single interruption.
Wait, 23 minutes from one notification.
23 minutes. Think about that. If you get, say, just 2 or 3 notifications during an hour you'd set aside for focused work.
You've basically blown the whole hour in terms of deep work potential.
Pretty much. You're constantly swapping out that potential for profound creative thought for these tiny hits of superficial information. It systematically undermines our capacity for real learning, complex problem solving, genuine creativity.
And I guess that spills over into how we interact with people, too. We've all seen it, right? Or
Yeah.
done it ourselves, probably.
Uh-huh.
That thing, phubbing.
Yes, phubbing, phone snubbing.
Snubbing someone right in front of you by looking at your phone instead. It's like you're physically there, but mentally, you're signaling that whatever's on that little screen is more important than the actual human being sitting opposite you.
And this connects directly back to Erich Fromm's ideas about active love. He identified 4 key components needed for genuine active love: care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge.
Care, responsibility, respect, knowledge.
Okay. And all 4 of those absolutely depend on one fundamental thing: attention. Giving your full, undivided attention. So when you interrupt a meaningful conversation with your partner or your child or a friend to glance at a notification.
You're breaking the respect pillar, right? You're saying the phone matters more right now?
Exactly. You violate respect. You arguably violate care and responsibility too, because you're not fully present to their needs or the conversation. Your focus is fractured. In this sense, you could almost frame digital addiction as the ultimate enemy of active love. It trains us to be passive observers in our own relationships, always half distracted rather than fully engaged participants.
And there's one more loss, isn't there? Something about just being alone. We seem terrified of it now.
Yes, the loss of solitude. Think about it. The instant we have a spare moment waiting in line, in an elevator, even just walking down the street, what do most of us do?
Whip out the phone. Fill the space.
We fill the space. We can't seem to tolerate just being with ourselves, with our own thoughts, even for a minute or two. And Fromm was very clear on this. The capacity to be a healthy, loving individual requires the capacity for genuine solitude. The ability to sit quietly, confront your own thoughts, your own feelings, without needing constant external distraction.
So grabbing the phone is like a shield against having to actually think or feel something uncomfortable.
In many ways, yes. It's a shield against that low-level background anxiety of just being quiet and facing our inner world.
Okay. So we've painted a pretty bleak picture. The algorithm as this hunter, exploiting our basic brain wiring. But you said this isn't hopeless.
Definitely not hopeless. The crucial thing to remember is that the algorithm relies on our passivity, our automatic reactions.
So the defense is being active, making conscious choices.
Exactly. The only real defense is conscious, disciplined decision-making. Think of your attention not just as a resource, but as Fromm might say, like love itself. It's an art form, a skill, a muscle you have to actively train and strengthen.
All right, let's get practical then. What's the first step? How do we start training that muscle?
First step is simple but powerful. Change the phone's role. Make it a tool you use intentionally to achieve things, not a machine that passively consumes your time and attention.
Okay, how?
Start by neutralizing those dopamine triggers we talked about. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Seriously, almost everything.
All of them? That sounds drastic.
It feels drastic for about a day. Then it feels liberating. Use features like scheduled summary or notification grouping on your phone. Batch your checks. Decide you will check messages or social media at, say, 10 a.m., lunchtime, and maybe 5 p.m. Not whenever the app decides to ping you.
Ah, so you're taking back control of the timing. Instead of reacting like Pavlov's dog, you're scheduling it like a task.
Precisely. It immediately starts reprogramming your brain away from that gambling reactive habit towards a structured, intentional interaction. You
Yeah.
choose the moment, not the algorithm.
I like that.
Okay, what else?
Here's a really simple psychological trick, but it works wonders. Switch your phone screen to grayscale. Black and white. Why?
Because our brains are naturally drawn to bright, saturated colors. They act like little visual rewards, especially in apps designed with flashy interfaces. Think of Instagram's colors or game icons. Switching to grayscale instantly makes everything look, well, less appealing, less shiny, less addictive. The content's still there, but that immediate visual pop that keeps you hooked is just gone. It makes it much easier to put the phone down.
Huh. Never thought of that. Okay, grayscale. Got it. What's next?
The third thing is crucial. You need to practice intentional boredom. We sometimes call it a technology fast.
A fast, like no phone at all.
For a set period, maybe start small. Lock your phone in another room for a whole Saturday morning or maybe Sunday afternoon. The key is to actually embrace that initial feeling of restlessness.
That fidgety feeling, wanting to check it.
Yes, that uncomfortable silence. You have to sit through it, let it pass. That discomfort is the feeling of your attention muscle rebuilding itself. Is how you develop that capacity for solitude that Fromm talked about, the ability to just be.
Right. You have to feel the withdrawal to get past it. Makes sense.
Okay, one more.
The last one brings it back to relationships, using Fromm's pillars. Actively apply that reclaimed attention where it matters most. Implement clear, agreed-upon, phone-free zones or times.
Like the dinner table.
The dinner table, absolutely. The bedroom is another big one. And maybe most importantly, during any serious or meaningful conversation. This isn't about being rigid, it's about commitment. When you consciously put your phone away, face down, out of sight, during those times, you're sending the clearest possible message. Right now, you are more important to me than anything happening on this device. That unwavering attention, it's the ultimate currency of care and respect.
So let's try and pull this all together then. The whole point of the attention economy, fundamentally, is to keep us passive, to make us predictable consumers. And our job, our mission, if you like, is to refuse that role, to become active decision makers, artists almost, shaping our own focus and, by extension, our own lives. Well put. You decide, consciously, moment by moment, where you're going to invest that finite, precious resource of your attention.
Because where your attention goes, that's where your energy flows. That's what shapes your reality.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is that this isn't just about fighting some external force, some clever algorithm out there.
No.
Ultimately, it's also an internal battle. We're fighting our own ancient, hardwired, reward-seeking brain chemistry. The real win is noticing that reflexive urge to grab the phone and then choosing focus instead, choosing depth.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. If your attention truly is the new oil, this incredibly valuable, finite resource, how much of yours today are you consciously choosing to refine? To invest in things with depth, with meaning, versus just letting it spill out onto the surface, scattered by the latest notification?
Powerful question to sit with.
Indeed. Be mindful, everyone. Stay focused. And we look forward to our next deep dive.